Well, good evening and welcome to the broadcast tonight from the experience in both the Senate and National Assembly, as witnessed in the House earlier today. Will the fight for the House majority sway to the favor of Azimio, or will Kimani Ichung'wah and Aaron Cheruiyot keep holding their offices after both houses make a decision on what they call status quo ante? Now, I'm Sammy Adika, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. On to our top story tonight. National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula says that the High Court ruling that invalidated the determination of the Kenya Kwanza as the majority party in the National Assembly only meant that the House now has to determine the majority party, as it did not clearly state who are the majority. Now, addressing the House after an intense give and take between lawmakers from both the majority and minority sides, Wetangula urged the members of parliament to exercise patience as they wait for further guidance, firmly stating that it is only the National Assembly Speaker who has the authority to declare who holds the majority in the House.
The gentleman who went to court with a total of 34 prayers before the court. Amongst those prayers was a declaration by the court that the Azimio coalition be declared as a majority party and the leader of the Azimio coalition in parliament be declared as the majority leader in the House. The court declined to give that declaration or that ruling. The only ruling out of the 34, Honorable Speaker, that was given by the court was to annul your ruling of October 2022. And the import of that annulment, Honorable Speaker, when they said that they found it to be unconstitutional, null and void, the import of that is we go back to the status quo as at 9th of August 2022.
It's called status quo ante.
Status quo ante, Honorable Speaker.
The judgment quashed the direction of the Speaker on the majority-minority. The judgment never declared who is the majority. It is not the court to declare the majority. It is the Speaker of this House. And you better know that. It is the Speaker of the House to declare the majority.
Well, we are all waiting to see how the events will turn out from tomorrow. That is on Wednesday, 2:30 p.m., as they will be convening for a different session. Now, the Cabinet has approved the 2025 budget policy statement, setting the budget for the 2025-2026 financial year at 4.2 trillion Kenya shillings. The statement, said to be forwarded to Parliament, highlights that total expenditure, that is equivalent to 22.1% of GDP, includes 3.09 trillion Kenya shillings for recurrent spending, 725.1 billion Kenya shillings for development, 436.7 billion Kenya shillings in county transfers, and 5 billion Kenya shillings for the contingency fund. Now, the Cabinet also proposed a shareable revenue of 2.8 trillion Kenya shillings, with 405 billion Kenya shillings allocated to county governments as an equitable share and 10.6 billion Kenya shillings for the equivalent or rather equalization fund. Now, in the meeting chaired by President William Ruto, the Cabinet outlined 6 key priorities to maintain economic momentum, including reducing the cost of living, eradicating hunger, creating jobs, expanding the tax base, improving foreign exchange balances, and fostering inclusive growth. Now, Murang'a County Governor Irungu Kang'ata has been ranked as the most performing governor in the country, followed by Trans Nzoia County Governor George Natembeya and Gladys Wanga, respectively, with their scorecards being 68%, 64%, and 59%, respectively. Now, this is according to a survey conducted by Infotrack Performance Index of 2024. On the report, 27% of Kenyans highlighted that increased corruption, mismanagement of funds, and bad governance are key factors leading to the decline of performance of county government for the past 10 years. Other key challenges affecting effective service delivery to Kenyans at the county level include poor service delivery at 14%, failed expectations at 13% and lack of transparency at 11%, and slow execution of developmental projects. Now, the survey was carried out between October and December of 2024 and sampled 36,200 Kenyans across all counties.
Number 2 is Trans Nzoia, George Natembeya at 64%. Number 3 is Gladys Wanga at 61%. Number 4 is Professor Anyang' Nyong'o at 59%. Number 5 is a tie between Mutula Kilonzo of Makueni and Elgeyo Marakwet Wesley Rotich at 57%. Number 7 is Simba Rati of Kisii at 55%. Number 8 is a tie between Nyeri and Kilifi, Gideon Mungaru and Mutai Kaiga of Nyeri at 54%. Number 10 is Kimani Wamatangi of Kiambu. We have all the top 25 there up till number 27, where we have Honorable Cecily Mbarire, Abdul Swamad of Mombasa, Governor James Orengo of Siaya, Fernandez Baraza, and Busia Governor Paul Otuoma, who all tie at 44th position.
Well, now on matters climate change, the African Group of Negotiators on Climate Change is now calling for more funding to help tackle the devastating effects of climate change across the continent. Speaking at a consultative forum to review agreements from the recent COP29 summit, they highlighted key concerns to be presented at the upcoming African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, later this week. Let's have a look at the full report.
We had observed that time would be
Now, barely 3 months after COP29 summit was held in Baku, Azerbaijan, the African Group of Negotiators on Climate Change have held a consultative meeting to review the progress made as they plan for the next COP summit in November in Brazil.
We're here yesterday and today. We've convened the African Group of Negotiators and the national focal points of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change to discuss the outcomes of COP29, to reflect on the challenges, on the successes, on the failures as we plan for the next COP, which will take place again in November this year in Belém in Brazil. And we have 37 countries represented here, some of the top experts on climate change from Africa.
According to Ali Mohammed, chair of the African Group of Negotiators on Climate Change, Baku was a big challenge as they had hoped to get significant support in light of the increasing climate change affecting communities. The leaders are targeted to raise $1.3 trillion annually to combat climate change in Africa. However, the African negotiators were only able to secure $300 billion, falling short of their goal.
A big challenge. We had huge expectations on one particular issue called the new collective quantified goal on climate change. We had hoped that we will get significant support in light of the ever-increasing impacts of climate change affecting all our communities everywhere in the continent. We had pushed an agenda and a position of a goal that we thought, and a number of independent experts had agreed, is commensurate, or could at least, not necessarily commensurate, but could contribute to redressing the challenges of climate change. Africa and the G77 plus China put forward the figure of 1.3 trillion per annum till 2030. But as you all are aware, we got much lower than that. We got 300 billion.
They have put a decision to work with the incoming presidency of Brazil for the global community to come up with the $1.3 trillion. The amount required by developed countries is around 2.8 trillion per annum.
We put a decision for arriving at 1.3, what we call the Baku-Belém roadmap. We will be working with the incoming presidency of Brazil to develop the process at which the global community will arrive at that figure of 1.3 trillion. And on the basis of the costing that is contained in the nationally determined contributions by countries, it's very clear that the amount required by countries, developing countries, Because developed countries really, who are the biggest contributors to the emissions, don't need to be supported because they have the responsibility to support developing countries, is in excess of 2.8 trillion. 2.8 trillion per annum. But again, that was segregated, how much can come from countries and how much needs to come from the international community.
The African Group of Negotiators has prepared a draft decision that will be presented to the African Union Assembly, urging greater financial support to accelerate efforts to fight climate change in Africa.
As a global community, to address climate change, it is the whole world, humanity, the planet that benefits. It is not a particular group that benefits more.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Modoni Karaoke.
Well, many thanks, Modoni Karaoke, for the report. Now, Nyeri County Governor Mutahi Kahiga says his statement in Laikipia on the Ma community was misquoted and is now being used by his political detractors to put him on a coalition course with the Maasai. According to Kahiga, his statement was taken out of context, insisting that in the coalition alliance he is forging with former Deputy President, that is Rigathi Gachagua. The Maasai community has a clear place. Now, Kahiga's apology follows demands by Governor Joseph Ole Lenku, who called him out for demeaning the Ma community during his address at the burial of William Nderitu Kinyua, the father of Laikipia Senator John Kinyua, on Monday.
Ningetaka siku ya leo mwanzo ni mwambie pole kama pengine kuna mtu yeyote ambaye mambo yale yalimuudhi kwa sababu ama matamshi yale, kwa sababu kulingana nasi hatukukusudia kwa njia yoyote ile kumkera, kumkasirisha, kumkashifu mtu yeyote, awe wa jamii yoyote kutoka taifa hili, na hasa hata watu kutoka jamii ya Ma ambao ni marafiki zetu. Kuna historia ndefu kati yetu na jinsi tunavyoishi pamoja, hasa ukikumbuka kutoka wakati ule wa zama. Ukiangalia majina mengi ambayo yametokana hata kwetu, majina kama Wamaidha na mengine, yale yote yametokana na jamii ya Wama. Na kwa hivyo ningetaka niseme pole kwao wote kama kuna mtu ambaye ameudhika na yale maneno tuliyoyazungumza jana katika mazishi, na tuseme kwamba hatukukusudia kwa njia yoyote ile kumkera na au kumkashifu mtu yoyote. Pia hatukutaka kumdhihaki yeyote.
Now, crossing over to Bungoma County, farmers in Sirisia in the county have been urged to start picking their subsidized fertilizers in good time. According to Sirisia Depot Manager Evans Nyangacha, the government has fully stocked the depot with the required fertilizers, and it's now upon farmers to ensure they have the farm inputs on time as planting season is fast approaching. On their side, the farmers also want the government to ensure they have the right fertilizers supplied on time in plenty, as it's compatible with their area soils, now further lauding the move, which has greatly reduced the distance they had to cover previously in search of such inputs.
Na nashukuru serikali kwa kutupatia mbolea in time ambayo imefanya wananchi wetu wamechukua mbolea kwa wakati ufaao. Tunashukuru wakulima, na wao wanakuja kwa mpangilio because wanakuja kila siku, at least tuko na mbolea ya kutosha ya kuwapatia wakulima. Tunahitaji wakuje wakati ambao unafaa ili wachukue mbolea wakati unaofaa, ili mvua ikikuja wasianze kurundikana hapa kwa wingi. Mwaka huu nimeona umekuwa mwaka mzuri, hatujakuwa na mbolea ile mlikuwa mnasema ni gush. Mbolea tuko nayo ni mbolea mzuri. We need at least a variety ya mbolea iwe mingi. Kwa kuwa ukiangalia mbolea kama OCP tuliletewa gari moja ambao kila mtu anataka. Sasa inatubidi tuchanganye na mbolea zingine, kila mtu at least apate kidogo kidogo.
Tumefurahia sana, kuna aina mbolea mkulima anataka atapata tu hapa Tamleka. Na Tamleka hapa na constituency yetu ya Sirisia ni karibu tu, hata watu wasichoke kwenda Bungoma, wakuje tu hapa Tamleka, kila aina mbolea iko.
Ni mbolea iko yenye iko, kuna OCP, kuna Yara kuliko mwaka jana.
Huduma ile tunapewa tunapokuja, tumalize wakati ya kusema kwamba tunaongoja hii ama ile. Msaada tu ni kwamba walete mbolea za aina zote siwe karibu, ili kwamba mkulima anapokuja anahudumiwa.
Tunafurahia kwanza NCBB kutuletea mbolea mahali hapa, especially mwaka huu, si kama mwaka jana. Leo imekuja ikiwa na timing nzuri, wakulima wamechangamkia. Kile tunataka tuombe pia ni kwamba kila mbolea aina zote zipatikane katika nafasi hii ili kwamba iweze kuhudumia wakulima. Tamlega hapa is a strategic place ambapo tunaweza pata mbolea inaweza enda mpaka Mount Elgon, irudi mpaka Chwele, kwa sababu hii ndio center point ya kila kona. Tunahitaji pia mbegu ya mahindi mahali hapa. Tunashukuru kwamba hizi zote ni mpangilio, labda upungufu ambao uko tunaomba uishe.
Nataka kushukuru bwana manager wetu kutuletea mbolea kwa wakati, na ameleta mbolea variety tofauti tofauti, ukitaka mavuno all types of varieties ziko. But lakini tunaomba serikali iweze kutusaidia mbolea tena zingine. Naona wakulima tunashukuru tunapata mbolea hii kwa wakati, lakini watuongezee, especially watuongezee OCP hiyo kwa wingi, because naona watu wengi wamependa.
Well, 1:15 the top of the hour. We are taking a short commercial break. We'll be right back to take a look on some of the news making headlines, including some of the efforts being put forth by the cooperatives and MSME's cabinet secretary to combat some of the governance issues bedeviling circles right here in the country.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Sindio?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Did they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even Meet of the One?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Well, welcome back to the broadcast tonight. Now, Cooperatives and MSMEs Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya now want the security agencies to quickly act on the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives Limited, that is KUSCO, forensic audit report, and ensure it brings to book all those adversely mentioned to have taken part in the over 10 billion graft within the cooperative union. While officially handing over the report to the National Police Service, led by Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, Oparanya expressed confidence in the Cooperative Bill of 2024, that saying, or rather stating, it will help in solving governance issues within cooperatives.
There are other cases that we are going to bring before our security officers, especially the investigating agencies, involving other circles that have been going under financial problems because of the suspected mismanagement. As I hand over this report, there are recommendations, and it is up to the Inspector General plus his officers to take action in accordance with their mandate. Either carry further investigation, take action immediately.
This evening, we are happy that we have received this report. And this report, we are going to go through it. The investigators are going to look at it. We are going to leave no stone unturned. Anyone involved in the mismanagement of members' money, then we will face the full force of the law. That's exactly what we are going to do. I have the DCI teams with me here this evening, and I'm going to hand over the same immediately with express instructions to start looking at the report immediately.
Now, President William Ruto has reiterated his commitment in creating an enabling business environment for foreign investors in the country. Speaking during a meeting with business delegation from Saudi Arabia, Ruto noted that Kenya has established policies that make her a choice for many investors, given its track record as a leading economy within the region. The head of state further underscored the need for Kenya to cement ties with Saudi Arabia, noting that it will accelerate the creation of job opportunities, skills development, and consequently improve the economy.
We already have a legal framework that is facilitative for public-private partnerships to drive investments in the public as well as in the private sector. And therefore, I just wanted to undertake on behalf of the government of Kenya that we are good to go for business. The Chamber of Commerce here will be your partners. The government of Kenya will be ready, willing, and available to work with you. And as was said by the minister, whatever other interventions that are required of us, whether it is avoidance of double taxation agreements or protection of investment agreements, we will be able to facilitate as government because we already have templates that we are working with other countries. So we should be able to bring that into your space so that you can, with a lot of ease and comfort and confidence, invest and sample the opportunities that we have. We have negotiated as a country different investment, trade, and market infrastructure. We have a negotiated framework with the European Union, meaning that from Kenya, you can export to the 27 countries in the European Union. Through the AGOA framework, you can also export from Kenya to America, duty-free, quota-free. So again, there are big opportunities for you and for investors, both from Saudi Arabia, working with their Kenyan counterparts, to do more business beyond what can be done between Saudi Arabia and Kenya alone.
We have realized, and we have a very good and excellent and positive experience with nurses and nursing from Kenya. We have a number, of course, a large number, but we also think this is a great opportunity. Also, there is a huge demand of almost 50,000 jobs to be filled, and I think this is a good area for collaboration. If once we come to an agreement on the requirements and so forth.
Now, Nathan Kipngeno, a 17-year-old former student of Cheboge High School in Narok, has a reason to smile after receiving a full scholarship for his university education. Now, Sanlam Group, under its Proud Moments campaign, has today announced a full university scholarship to support the bright and needy student from Sogo village, located in the outskirts of Narok County. Now, and as Alice Diana reports, Kipngeno, who scored an A- in the 2024 KCSE examinations, aspires to study medicine.
Nathan Kipngeno's dream to become a doctor in future has been made possible by Sanlam Group, which has offered him a full university scholarship. Nathan, a former student of Cheboge High School in Narok County, excelled in the 2024 KCSE, scoring an impressive A-. The 17-year-old first came into the spotlight early last month after a video of his father energetically dancing and jumping in celebration of his son's stellar performance went viral on social media. This was then posted under Sanlam Group's Pan-African Proud Moments social media campaign, a campaign that seeks to celebrate everyday people victories, no matter the magnitude. The tears of joy from his hard-working father, who sacrificed greatly to ensure Nathan received an education, deeply moved the Sanlam Group, inspiring them to take up the challenge of supporting him by fully covering his tuition fees to the university he will be placed to by the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service.
And because of the excitement we saw, there was none that we saw of that nature. We thought that the best we could do as Sanlam is to join the family in celebration. Then we thought of this proud moment award, an initiative that we created in Sanlam, said we must then support that child to pursue his further studies. Back at Sanlam, we have our core values, and our core values believe in empowering society, financial inclusion, transformative education, so that our society always gets better.
Nathan, who aspires to study medicine, expressed immense gratitude for the scholarship. With the scholarship covering his tuition and other education expenses, he can now focus on his studies and work towards his dream of building a better life for himself, his family, and his community.
I want to pursue a course in the field of medicine, apart from nursing and pharmacy. Either I will do clinical medicine or either medicine and surgery. I have only 4 universities. Either Jomo Kenyatta, University of Nairobi, or even KU. I want to thank Sanlam for this sponsorship they gave unto me, because in terms of school fees, I really faced a challenge.
Speaking during the scholarship award ceremony, Nathan's parents thanked Sanlam for the scholarship, noting that their son has been a hardworking student throughout his primary and secondary education.
Mimi ni mama wake, ni second born kwa familia yetu, na ninashukuru sana kwa nafasi yenye amepata kuwa sponsored na Sanlam. Nimefurahi kabisa nikiwa mama, maana kwetu tumebarikiwa na watoto na penye wametushikia mkono, hata wale wengine watapata nafasi ya kuendelea vizuri na masomo yao.
Nathan is a hardworking student. He was actually committed since he joined Form 1. He has never gone beyond position number 5. And in fact, he has been topping in some of the contests. In mathematics, he is a good boy.
Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Well, now on matters sports, rally driver Evans Kavisi has reiterated his readiness to take part in the 2025 WRC Safari Rally alongside that is Karan Patel, Nihil Sachania and Tinashe Gatimu. The rally will be taking part from March 20th to 23rd in Naivasha, Nakuru County. Now, Kavisi, who recently took part in the Mombasa Golf Club, that is the second leg of the 2025 golf series, says he has also resorted to playing golf, which helps him unwind from the high-intensity world of rallying.
Golf is very different from motorsport in the pace that it requires, the level of concentration, and the amount that you have to play with your mind. And similarly, well, the similarities are how much you have to play with your mind also. That's a big component. Then you also have to learn that there are things outside of your control that you can do, and things within your control you can do, and there are elements outside of your control you can't do anything about. The minute I started playing, I realized how bad I was. So I kept trying to chase the small improvement. Soon enough, I was hooked onto this thing. So it gave me a very different pace to what I was used to. But I started reading things about myself and understanding myself, just basically how to deal with failure, how to deal with a good run. And today you can be very good, tomorrow you're utter rubbish. You can do a solid attempt in the morning, in the afternoon you're something else, or you can have a really solid day if you actually try and focus your efforts in one direction. So it teaches you a very different set of skills that I keep saying, motorsport is very emotional, as much as people don't want to talk about it. And the minute you wear that helmet, something switches on. And I don't know, you have like tunnel vision. I can speak for myself. I always find myself trying to go as fast as possible, even in areas that probably I didn't need to go as fast. So my risk analysis became a little bit problematic, I would say. So this has taught me to just calm down and be a lot more accepting to the twists and turns of life as they go.
Well, right there now in the UEFA Champions League, PSG has currently managed 2 goals against Brest. That is in the ongoing game currently, and at 11 p.m. Real Madrid will be playing against Manchester City. Juventus will be playing against PSV. And Sporting CP will be facing Borussia Dortmund. We're all waiting to see the outcome right there from 11 p.m. Currently, PSG has managed 2 goals against Brest, which has 0 so far. Well, that brings us to the end of our tonight's bulletin. My name is Sammy Adika. Our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Mureithi. Many thanks for your company. Do have a wonderful night. Goodbye.